Somewhere in a parallel universe, 2020 is the year California finally took steps to tackle its housing crisis and end homelessness. That's how the year began. But in our universe, that's not how things turned out. When 2020 began, Governor Gavin Newsom and top lawmakers vowed they were going to pass a production package, pulling together a collection of bills to build duplexes in single-family neighborhoods and streamlining high-density zoning for small projects and affordable housing on church or nonprofit college land. It's time for California to say yes to housing, Newsom said in his February State of the State address. Then the coronavirus pandemic hit and the California Legislature closed down, twice. Now with the legislature set to adjourn August 31st, the final push is underway to get some housing bills across the finish line to Newsom's desk. And indeed, some bills conceived in the early days of 2020 are advancing. Others bit the dust. For example, 3 bills to boost homeless programs failed to pass, including a bill to spend $2 billion annually on homeless programs, a bill to create permanent funding for homeless programs by eliminating state tax deductions on second homes, and a bill requiring local governments to reduce homelessness 90% by 2028. Bills seeking to approve housing on commercially zoned land also failed to survive, as did measures to allow denser and taller developments in some areas without city council or board of supervisors reviews, and to allow parcels to be rezoned for small developments without environmental reviews. They were victims of the coronavirus pandemic, to be sure. But progress also got derailed by disruptions that shut down the legislature, a lack of funds, and the usual infighting between interest groups, housing policy experts say. Frankly, this legislative session is turning out to be a disappointment in terms of housing production policy, said David Garcia, policy director for UC Berkeley's Terner Center for Innovative Housing. There simply was not enough bandwidth to take care of housing bills as usual. Ultimately, the pandemic reduced the amount of time people had to make deals, said Brian Hanlon, president and chief executive of California YIMBY, a pro-housing organization. The bills passing this year are good bills, but they don't come near to the scale of addressing the housing crisis in California. The fate of many key bills still hangs in the balance during the waning days of the session. For example, the state Senate Judiciary Committee spent more than 5 hours last week deliberating a bill aimed at banning evictions. The committee received hundreds of calls for and against the measure. Here are highlights of key housing bills that remain this session. Assembly Bill 1436. Tenants who couldn't pay their rent during the coronavirus shutdowns didn't have to worry about getting evicted, until now.